Hey, we got tickets to go racing today. They're doing the racetrack in Santa Maria again this weekend. Doug Fort Memorial, and we got a 4-pack.
On the 4th?
On the 4th, yeah. During the day.
Wow.
They'll probably do fireworks that night, too, I bet, knowing how they do things at the Santa Maria Speedway. The new and improved Santa Maria Speedway. We'll talk to Dave from the Speedway coming up before the show ends today. Give you an opportunity to win a family 4-pack.
This is probably something you don't do, but most Americans do. In fact, 53% say they do it at least once. And they're spending, at least millennials are spending $24 a month doing it. What do you think it is? And the millennials actually do it 3 times a week.
Millennials spend $24 a week doing this?
The numbers don't line up. The numbers don't line up.
Or do they spend $24 every time they do it?
That would be that would average $2 per time that they do it, right? And nothing's $2.
So it's $24 every time they do it. Some do it up to 3 times a week.
$24 monthly.
Something that costs would nothing cost. I mean, that's so cheap for a month.
These numbers don't line up, but that's fine. It's eating in their car, eating a meal in their car. Millennials spend the most. They spend $24 a month on car meals. Now, do you make the meal at home and then eat it? Or
no, I bet you they're stopping. There's a new taco place in town, so I wanted to check it out. It's some new burritos. There's thin burritos. Well, it's taco time. You know what that is.
It's a good band name, by the way, the new burritos.
The new burritos. Banderos. Anyways, they got these new burritos, and so I'm like, how you got some hot sauce? He's like, yeah, we got hot sauce, we got really hot sauce, and we got 511 sauce. I'm like, give me 2 of each. He goes, we got a Verde too. You want that? I go, no Verde today. That's only for chicken.
What does 511 stand for? Is that like
511 is like some sort of an emergency, I think. Like I don't know. Ask your phone. Is it 411 or 511?
411 is the
information. So, anyways, the 511 was the hottest, and it wasn't my favorite because I didn't like the flavor of the sauce. And it wasn't all that hot. But the regular hot sauce was. But what I realize is when you're trying to you bite open the little packet of hot sauce when you go to Taco Bell, get your fire sauce, and you're trying to put it on your burrito or your taco as you're driving and trying to eat it, that is a bad combination. You're just asking for, I was all over my fingers and my hands.
Yeah, they said that there was certain foods that led the way. In fact, it was the most popular was hamburgers, then sandwiches, then pizza. Pizza's tough.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called a 5-alarm hot sauce, not 511.
Oh, okay. Because I'm asking AI. I think you've stumped AI, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, it was 5-alarm.
I think you have stumped AI because I asked what the significance of 511 was, and it told me there's a 511 hotline for traveler and traffic information. There's a 511, a tactical equipment known for climbing, rock climbing for the most.
Yes.
And then also it's a HTTP status code 511 that requires, it means your network authentication is required to do that. So those are the significance of the 511. But it was 5-alarm. 5-alarm I get. Okay, that means it's hot. It's hot. That means all the fire stations need to respond to the heat of that sauce. But hamburgers and sandwiches and pizza led the way. The states that lead the way are Georgia. Atlanta is gnarly. Like, they have traffic jams in Atlanta, so I get that. New York, Florida, North Carolina, and California lead the way. Well, I guarantee you no millennials they're eating 3 times a week behind the wheel, and they're sitting in California traffic jams. They're spending way more than $24 a month on that. Generation Z actually eats 4 times a week behind the wheel of the car. What's the best thing to eat in the car?
It's usually a hamburger that doesn't have anything on it, but like some ketchup and mustard or something, because
Yeah, not a fancy hamburger. Don't hit me.
you need like the McDonald's cheeseburger is probably what I would think of first, like
Yes.
or the double cheeseburger. It just got ketchup,
Or
mustard,
In-N-Out, because they wrap it up in a piece of paper.
Yeah, but
aid in that.
That can still be a little bit messy.
In-N-Out has thought it out versus like Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr. is like, we're going to put everything on this burger. We're going to put it all on this burger. We'll put some bacon. We'll put some hot dogs. We'll put some pastrami.
That's a great burger, just not one to eat in the car.
Jalapenos. But yeah, that's the thing. You open it up and you try to eat it when you're behind the wheel. Forget about it. No way. Like that's why people choose In-N-Out, because In-N-Out takes the extra step to know that, okay, a lot of these people are going to be eating behind the wheel of the car, so they're going to have to multitask.
And they even have a box they put it in instead of a bag.
Let's wrap it around a piece of. Not only do we wrap it in a piece of paper, but we're going to wrap it up in a piece of paper too. So we'll give it like a little handle. And they thought that through. That was smart. That was wise from the In-N-Out Corporation.
Here's my thing. The burrito should be the easiest thing to eat in the car, but the problem is they don't put the sauce on it. If they would put the sauce on it, so then you can just open it up, and eat it instead of having to put sauce on top of it.
Is that a special request that you can make at a burrito place? Can you say, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you put the hot sauce in the burrito when you're making it?
Yeah, not at Taco Bell.
Because that's how I make my burritos.
They're like, we can give you hot sauce packets, but we don't have that hot sauce back here.
Well, then go up there and grab the packet and open it up and dump it in there when you're making, because I'm going to eat this behind the wheel, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any. I'm sure there's places that will do that, but I'm pretty sure that the Taco Bell, for the most part, won't do that.
This is where a casual fast food Mexican place can beat Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Because Taco Bell's the number one, right? And there's really none. I mean, Del Taco, you got Del Taco, but they do the same. They're guilty of the same mistakes that Taco Bell makes. You're like, hey, we're the first fast food friendly in-car dining while you do. You tell us whatever sauce you want, how much of that sauce you want in your burrito, and we will put it in your burrito as we're cooking it. And then people will go there. Because what's the one knock of Taco Bell? I like Taco Bell, but I can't eat it in the car because it gets everywhere. Or I've got to open the thing up, and I can't wrap it back up the way they wrap it up, because once you open it up, then close it up, and open it up, close it up, it gets flimsy.
Have you tried one of these butter burgers? That was a craze a couple of years ago, and I had a friend visiting, and we were driving, and I said, all right, we're just going to stop and get a burger. He gets the butter burger. Thank God I have leather seats, because if I had fabric seats, I would have killed him. He had it all over his pants, my seats, everything. And it was this garlic butter like sauce that mushrooms that they put on this burger.
Not a burger that's conducive.
Yeah, you don't eat that in the car.
Right. And it's like you guys.
And the best part was
wild burgers.
He brought one pair of jeans, and he had to get on an airplane the next day. Wear those
perfect
butter garlic stained jeans. Oh,
Jeff and Jeremy.
What was that new show you were telling me about you saw that is coming to Netflix?
Yeah, it hit Netflix yesterday. I have yet to see it because World Cup.
I know. It's just so exciting.
So this is equally as exciting. It's called Worst Neighbor Ever.
But there was trouble brewing.
She'd be out there mowing her yard naked.
Loud noises at bizarre times.
She would follow me to the grocery store.
He started.
Follow her to the grocery store.
I love the Southern accent. When you hear her talk, you're like, oh, yeah, this is straight white trash. This has got to be straight white trash.
Well, what tipped you off? Mowing your lawn naked?
Well, you don't have to be white trash to do that, but it's her voice that tipped me off. Sorry, Southerners.
Every night.
He was just like, you are going to be the target of my wrath.
It doesn't matter what we did. She was nonstop calling the police.
I can't live like this anymore.
And then one day, as I turned to look at my husband,
I lived this every night for years.
Toughen up, Buttercup.
That's a guy.
She's just
but
mowing the yard
listen,
naked. I don't know if
okay,
you can
no.
cry about
That
it.
big explosion was reality, and that big explosion leveled the block of their town, and it was all at the hands of a neighbor. One is to believe by watching.
What do you mean it leveled their town?
It like 4 or 5 houses are.
Oh, really? It blew up the neighborhood?
Yes,
And it was this.
People,
Oh my God!
it killed people, and it and then yeah. I don't know. I haven't watched any of the episodes. There's 4 episodes.
Are you watching the news at all this week and saw, I think it was last weekend, on Saturday, some house in Seattle area up in the Northwest, near Seattle, had like 700 pounds of fireworks in
This
it.
guy would qualify. Yes, I have seen this. This happened on Whidbey Island, and island people are strange. Just know that. Like, everybody's like, oh, I live on an island. It doesn't mean it's fancy. It means
It's very true. It doesn't mean
all
it's
walks of
fancy.
life live on the island, especially Whidbey Island. Like, Whidbey Island can be like people. I've always had this feeling that people that live on Whidbey Island, which it has become a coveted area to live, but that also your next door neighbors could be evading the law. That's why they live on an island.
This guy blew up his house and blew up his I mean, I don't know if it blew up the neighbors' houses, but it caused damage to them.
I believe it was a significant amount. Initial estimates were probably in the 700-pound range. I believe this individual was buying fireworks for an event that they were doing.
He had just had some pallets lifted, and he said he got a deal on them, and then he stored them.
Estimation right now is some smoking materials were around the fireworks in question.
Okay, I have a little bit more on the story because I saw the news story. The news story from the TV station in Seattle goes out there, the reporter, and she's talking to the neighbors, and they have the guy, like the house is gone, right? It is blown up, and it was because he was smoking a cigarette. He had all the fireworks on his back deck. He had like tarps over the top strung out with a walled tent like thing on his deck. He made his own homemade walled tent on his deck. Yeah. 700 pounds of fireworks in there. He had air conditioners blowing, like, you know, the kind you put in a window, I'm guessing,
Which it doesn't
inside
get super hot.
to keep it cool. But the problem was he was smoking around it, and he flicked his ashes, and boom. And luckily he didn't die. So he comes back 2 days later, apologizes to the neighbor, like, oh, hey, sorry about that. All the neighbors hate him.
Blew up your house.
Now he's
Blew up my
digging
house
through
and-
the rubble of his house, which, by the way, looks like the nuclear bomb. Big Boy, whatever it was called.
Hiroshima.
Yeah, it looks like Hiroshima.
And the funny thing about it, from what I saw, was there was still like fireworks remnants laying around
all over the
everywhere.
place. And he's in there smoking another cigarette.
He's got another heater in his mouth as the news is
Listen,
there.
man, I get
As the
nicotine.
news is
I
there.
understand smoking. Maybe just don't do it around explosives. Like you don't light one at the gas station when you're filling your truck or your car.
We're hard on
There's a reason
journalists
for that.
not getting the right information, but man, Cairo nailed it with that report because, like, as they pulled up, their guy is sifting through the ashes of his house as he's smoking a cigarette, and there's still fireworks everywhere, strewn across the whole block from the explosion of the house. They went to press a little too early on this. Season 2, I'm sure. Season 2 will be fireworks guy for worst neighbor ever on Netflix. Of the worst blank ever series, this is the one that intrigues me the most.
This is true crime, though. You're right there. I mean, this is the same thing.
I know.
You know, the people that go out and kill their wives, listen, guys, if your wife dies, they're looking at you first every single time. Your girlfriend dies, they're looking at you, buddy. And that goes for the women, too. It's always somebody who's close to them, usually, always. You're never going to get away with it. You're just not.
Okay, so, like,
I've seen enough. Sorry,
I don't.
Not that I want to kill my wife.
Like the neighbor, though, the neighbor is such a wild card. Like, there's no emotional attachment until
Can't pick
they
your neighbors.
decide, until they decide to have that emotional attachment to you, and you can't do anything about it. Like, that's what sucks about living in neighborhoods. This is why people get land. and they live on their
That's
own.
why I think you're always onto something when you say, don't be friendly with your neighbor. You don't need to make friends with your neighbors. Like
You don't need to talk to them.
my neighbors are pretty cool. We all wave at each other, but that's about where we leave it.
Yep.
Everybody's coming over and
Leave everybody alone. Just, if they come and talk to you, gauge the request of the conversation and figure out how to snuff it out or keep engaged in it. Like, I have a good relationship with both my direct next door neighbors. I do. They're great
people that live in Grover Beach know what we're talking about because, you can move into a nice street, but there's always that one guy.
You're moving into a nice house. You could move into $1 million house, but
next
then
door.
house next door. Yeah, you're like, you got to take that into
That
consideration.
guy is always going to be an issue. Like, I had to deal with that when I lived there, on the
Why has this
history
really
projects.
nice house been sold 4 times in the last 10 years?
We
That's
were
what
renting a
question you
really
have to
nice
ask
house
yourself.
and really nice yard, and thank God it had a really big fence and a retaining wall because next to it used to be a really nice house that was turned into 5 houses.
Yes.
The whole thing, cars, trucks, and boats in the yard. I mean, it was just I used to tell you all the time, the gang task force, the drug task force, like, it was like every other month there would be some task force raiding 1 or 2 of the units in this 5-unit house.
My grandparents had a horrible neighbor. He was a bad person. And he lived in a nice house. It was just a bad person. I mean, just like, you'd hear screaming and yelling from his house, from his kids, from his wife all the time. He once pulled a shotgun on my grandfather.
Jeez.
He knew it was this is in suburban Seattle, okay?
Well, it was the 80s, right? So what's the show called again on Netflix? My Worst Neighbor? Or?
Worst neighbor ever. Worst neighbor ever. And I'm gonna watch. I don't watch a lot of TV. I will watch episodes of this.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Okay, so worst neighbor ever. This inspired a poll question: has a bad neighbor ever forced you to move? Because you didn't want to, it's either him or I, and I'm not going to deal with it anymore, and I move. Now, this is the problem with buying a house. Renting a house,
Easy.
yes, very easy. You're like, I can't stand the neighbors. I'm moving.
I didn't move
Buy a
because of my
house.
Hillcrest Project neighbors, but I've had other neighbors that were like, I lived in this house and it was on the corner of the street. I had some great neighbors all around me, really nice yards, and this one slob to the up to my right. It was kind of a hill. It was uphill from me. His grass would grow 4 feet tall in the front yard. I mean, it was weeds. There was junk all over the place. But he would still water. He would mow it, and then he would water it, and he'd leave the water on, and the water would run down the retaining wall between our properties, and then pool up in my driveway. And I'd ask him, hey, can you, turn the water off? And he's like, oh, yeah. But it happened again and again and again. And I'd call my landlord. And I'm like, I don't know what to do about this guy. You got any ideas? Call the city. I'm like, oh, boy, now we're opening a can of worms, right? So I just never did. I'm like, well, it's not my house. If it was my house, it'd been a different story. But I was glad when we left because that neighbor was, but then I would see him every once in a while and we'd talk, and he was a nice guy, but he looked like a guy that was a hermit, He was kind of like his hair, like his beard was really long, and he looked disheveled.
Inside at the keyboard, doing whatever.
Drove a Subaru, Just all the signs of a hermit.
Driving a Subaru. You drive a Subaru, you're done, man.
Women drive Subarus, one thing. Dudes drive Subarus, yeah, issues going on there. Something on the spectrum, I don't know, but there's something going on there.
There's nothing wrong with Subaru. I like Subaru.
I know you had one for a while.
Oh, it's a cool car. All-wheel drive all the time. Can't go wrong.
You've probably been the neighbor. The reason why people have moved. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think so.
When you were younger,
I keep to myself. Even when I was younger, I keep to myself.
I need a party.
Because I always place great importance on how I'm perceived by the people that are living next door to me, next door to me. Because I don't want them to report me for anything that I'm doing that might be nefarious.
We used to live, and they'd call the cops on us all the time for making too much noise. Maybe it was
that stupid place that was right on the corner. I lived with you for a month when
we were helping you move. I was helping you. We were moving your stuff under my carport.
Yes, and the cops got called on us that night because we were moving stuff.
I know that, but I thought there was another place where they got called on us quite a bit for noise, and I'm like, we literally had a Radio Shack AM FM little transistor radio playing in the kitchen window. It was sitting in the kitchen window, pushing the sound outside as we were moving Jeff stuff out of my truck into the carport.
I think I think I actually forced a neighbor to move. When we lived in San Luis Obispo. And
the crazy lady next to you in the yellow house?
2 dogs. Yeah, we had 2 dogs. And our houses, because in San Luis Obispo, you know how houses can be very close for no reason. Our houses were very close. She worked by the window that my dogs would hang out by during the day and watch people walk by. When people would walk by, they would bark at the people. Now, the houses weren't attached, but there was, it was probably 8 feet in between the houses, and she worked right by that window, and my dogs hung out by that window, and they bark all day long. Well, I don't know. The way she acted was like, okay, I was traumatized because I was bit by a dog in my life or something like that. And she'd be like, is there anything you can do? Like, she'd come over all San Luis Obispo depressed. She'd come over. Excuse me, I work at the window next to where your dogs bark all day long. Is there any way you can keep them quiet? It's like, I don't know what to tell you. People make noise, they walk by, and the dogs are going to bark. I mean, it's kind of instinctual for dogs to do that. I find it very traumatic. That's what she said. She found it very traumatic that the dogs were barking. I said, well, good news for you is there's a wall and a window right here. I said, you want to take a look at the dogs? The dogs both weighed combined about 20 pounds. And I said, you can handle these dogs. Plus, they're very nice. They just bark at people when they walk by. And the landlord allows us to have these dogs, and the landlord knows what these dogs do. And she's like, fine, walks away.
You know what you could do?
A month later, she writes a note and puts it in our like, she's a candidate for worst neighbor ever, really.
Yeah.
Like, she started getting a little crazy. And then one day I show up at home, and my brother-in-law's there. And I'm like, what are you doing here? He goes, oh, I'm helping my coworker move. I was like, what, the lady next door? And he's like, yeah. I go, she doesn't work with you. She works at the window. And he goes, no, her husband. Oh, good luck with the move.
Maybe what you should have done is you should have said, what would solve this problem is you need to make some signs and put them at the start of your house and below my house on the sidewalk. Say, sidewalk is closed. Please use the other side of the street. And then people won't walk by our house, and then the dogs won't bark.
No, it was a downtown. I mean, we had businesses across the street that would make a ton of noise because it was like in a kind of like an industrial area. Right. So there would be deliveries. Yeah. They would be running tools. There was an upholstery shop across the street.
This wasn't the only time your dogs caused an issue. If I remember, San Luis PD showed up to your house.
That was friend's dog.
Because the neighbors at the senior center called
but that was my friend's dog. My friend asked if he could keep his dog at our house while we went out.
You were known as the neighborhood dog pariah.
Yeah, I was like the dog person. But that's fine because San Luis Obispo hates pets.
No, they don't hate pets. Just pets that make noise.
As is witnessed by its rental policies.